Welcome to the African History Channel. Discover the rich and untold stories of Africa, from ancient civilizations to modern movements. We dive deep into the heritage that shaped the continent. If you love learning about African history and culture, don't forget to like our videos and subscribe to our channel. Let's explore Africa's history together. Imagine a world where people moved with the seasons, following the herds and gathering what nature provided, living hand in hand with the rhythms of the earth. Now, let's fast forward to a monumental shift in human history, the rise of agriculture. And when we talk about agriculture in Africa, we're not just talking about a single region. We're diving into a rich tapestry that includes the Nile Valley, the Sahara, and so much more. So buckle up as we explore how agriculture transformed the African landscape and the lives of its people. Let's start with the Nile Valley, often hailed as the cradle of civilization. The Nile River, a lifeline cutting through the arid landscape, its waters nurturing the soil along its banks. For thousands of years, communities thrived here, relying on the annual flooding of the Nile to enrich the land. This was no accident. It was a carefully observed cycle. As the waters receded, they left behind a fertile silt, perfect for planting crops. The Egyptians, with their incredible ingenuity, learned to harness this bounty. They cultivated wheat, barley, and flax, not just for food, but also for textiles. Imagine the bustling markets, the vibrant colors of grains and fabrics, the exchange of goods and ideas. This agricultural foundation allowed societies to flourish, leading to the rise of cities, monumental architecture, and a complex social structure. Now, let's shift our gaze to the Sahara, often perceived as a vast, uninhabitable desert. But beneath that sandy surface lies a history of agriculture that is just as rich. You see, the Sahara was not always the barren landscape we know today. Thousands of years ago, it was a lush, green environment, teeming with life. Archaeological evidence reveals that early inhabitants practiced a form of pastoralism, herding cattle and goats, and even cultivating crops in the fertile patches that dotted the region. They adapted to their surroundings, learning to make the most of the seasonal rains. But as the climate changed and the Sahara began to dry up, these communities had to innovate further. They developed new techniques for irrigation, using the limited water resources to sustain their crops. The resilience of these early farmers is a testament to human adaptability, a story that resonates even today. But agriculture in Africa isn't confined to just the Nile Valley and the Sahara. The continent is incredibly diverse, with each region offering its own unique agricultural practices. In the West African savanna, for instance, the cultivation of millet and sorghum became widespread. These hardy grains thrived in the less fertile soils, providing sustenance for millions. The introduction of the yam, a staple food in many parts of West Africa, transformed diets and agricultural practices. Farmers developed intricate systems of crop rotation and intercropping, ensuring that the land remained productive year after year. This knowledge was passed down through generations, a legacy of innovation and sustainability. Now let's not forget East Africa, where the Great Rift Valley cradles some of the earliest evidence of agriculture. Here, the domestication of crops like coffee and bananas played a pivotal role in shaping societies. Coffee, in particular, would go on to have a global impact, but its roots trace back to this very region. Imagine the bustling coffee markets, the rich aromas wafting through the air, connecting people in a shared cultural experience. Agriculture in East Africa wasn't just about sustenance, it was about community, trade, and identity. As we traverse the continent, we find the southern African regions where the cultivation of maize became a cornerstone of agricultural practices. Brought to Africa from the Americas in the 16th century, maize quickly adapted to the local conditions and became a staple in many diets. The introduction of new crops often leads to cultural exchanges, blending traditional practices with new ideas. This fusion is a hallmark of African agriculture, where innovation meets tradition. Now, let's talk about the role of women in this agricultural revolution. Women have always been the backbone of farming communities in Africa. They are the ones who plant, tend, and harvest crops, often juggling these responsibilities with household duties. Their knowledge of traditional farming practices is invaluable, yet often overlooked. Empowering women in agriculture can lead to increased productivity and food security. When women thrive, entire communities benefit. This is a narrative that needs to be amplified, highlighting the vital contributions of women to the agricultural landscape of Africa. But with the rise of agriculture also comes challenges. Climate change, land degradation, and urbanization threaten traditional farming practices. The very systems that have sustained communities for generations are under pressure. However, innovation is at the forefront of the agricultural future in Africa. From the use of technology in farming to sustainable practices that honor the land, there is a growing movement towards resilience. Young farmers are embracing modern techniques while respecting traditional knowledge, creating a hybrid approach that could redefine agriculture on the continent. And let's not forget the importance of food sovereignty. As Africa becomes more interconnected with global markets, there's a growing push to prioritize local food systems. Supporting local farmers not only strengthens communities, but also preserves cultural identities. It's about choosing to celebrate the diversity of African agriculture, honoring the unique flavors and practices that vary from region to region. As we reflect on the rise of agriculture in Africa, we see a story of resilience, innovation, and community. From the banks of the Nile to the vast stretches of the Sahara, from the savannas of West Africa to the highlands of East Africa, agriculture has shaped the continent's identity. It's a testament to human ingenuity, a reminder that we are deeply connected to the land and to each other. So the next time you enjoy a meal, take a moment to appreciate the journey of those ingredients, the hands that cultivated them, and the rich history that brought them to your table. Agriculture in Africa is not just about growing food, it's about nurturing life, culture, and community. And that, my friends, is a story worth telling. If you love learning about African history and culture, don't forget to like our videos and subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching. See you next time.